Hello everyone. So this is Karthikeyan, biology faculty from SIMS Institute, Nanganallu. We'll be discussing NEET 2019 biology solutions. So next one, again, it's a practical question you had run in your 12th board practicals. Chilled ethanol. This is again a question that is available in NCERT also directly. It is chilled ethanol. Chloroformula you cannot use. It is chilled ethanol. Select the correct group of biocontrol agents. These type of questions are very important. Definitely every year there is one question that comes from this biocontrol agents. Okay. So what are the biocontrol agents present? What are the biofertilizers? What are the pests available? All these are present. Biocontrol agents are only three. Bacillus thuringiensis, okay, bacillovirus, or you call it as a NPV, nucleopolyhedroviruses, and the third thing is the trichoderma. These three are your biocontrol agents. Oscillatoria, Rhizobium, Nostoc, Azovirilium, all these four things that are present. These are all your biofertilizers. These are biofertilizers. And aphids is a pest, insect pest, and tobacco mosaic virus TMV is a pathogen. Okay, so the given option, correct one is option 2. Okay, trichoderma baculovirus is also called as what? It is called as nucleopolyhedrovirus NPV. Bacillus thuringiensis. These three are the biocontrol agents. Okay, and remaining are biofertilizers, aphids, and then pathogen. So simple one and important one too. Select the incorrect statement. First one, inbreeding increases homozygosity. Yes, we all know. Since it increases homozygosity, what it means? It is meaning it is going to give us some pure lines, right? So it is essential to develop pure lines in any animals. Inbreeding selects harmful recessive genes. No, it is going to give us, it is going to expose the harmful recessive genes. So we are going to eliminate that. Okay, it is not going to select, whereas it is going to eliminate. How it is going to eliminate? By exposing these harmful recessive genes. So the incorrect statement is this one. Next one, persistent nucellus in the seed is known as, again a direct question, it is perisperm. What is hilum then? Hilum, if you take, it is a structure present in the seed coat that leaves some mark. Okay, so suppose if this is your seed coat, this mark, just for example, here you will be having a depression or a scar like thing, which indicates the attachment of the seed to the walls of the ovary. Okay, so hilum is a scar. Chalaza is going to be one end where it gets attached with the integuments. Okay, so chalaza end, it gets attached to the integuments. So the persistent nucellus that is present in the seeds is known as perisperm. So try to understand what are the other options also, because the other option can be made a question next year. Okay, that's why I'm trying to include as many informations in for other options also. What would be the heart rate of the person if the cardiac output is 5 liters, blood volume in the ventricles at the end of diastole is 100 ml, and at the end of ventricle systole is 50 ml? A very interesting question. Again, it's an applicative based question. He has given 3 inputs for us, doctors. What are the inputs? He has given about cardiac output. He has given cardiac output as 5 liters. And he has given the blood volume in the ventricle at the end of diastole, which means at the end of relaxation of the ventricle, right? Which means the heart ventricles had not gone for the contraction. Next, it has just received the blood. Is 100 ml. And at the end of systole, 50 ml, which means the ventricle had contracted, it has given some blood. The remaining blood is 50 ml. Now, what he is trying to tell us is something called as stroke volume. You all know what is stroke volume, the amount of blood ejected by the ventricle at the end of each cardiac cycle is called as stroke volume. The normal stroke volume is 70 ml. Right, you all know this fact. And it can also be defined as the difference between end diastolic volume. We represent it as EDV and ESV. That means the stroke volume is defined as the end diastolic volume and end systolic volume difference. So difference between end diastolic volume and end systolic volume, or the amount of blood ejected by the ventricle during each cardiac cycle, that is for every 0.8 seconds, it is what? Stroke volume. Now we have got cardiac volume as 5 liters. We have got stroke volume as 50 ml. Now we need to find out the heartbeat. So I'll erase these all. What is heartbeat formula? I mean cardiac output formula. It is stroke volume. That is difference between EDV and ESV into the heart rate. So if you apply that formula, you will get 100 beats per minute. Okay, so we question like has given 5 liters and stroke volume we found out by calculating a beautiful formula. We got it as 50 ml, right? So 50 ml. So I can write it as 5,000 liters and I can, 5,000 ml, and this is 50 ml. So it is going to be 100 beats per minute. Okay. Easy question. Thiobacillus is a group of bacteria helpful in carrying out denitrification. Again, a direct question. So two bacteria that helps in denitrification is Thiobacillus and then Pseudomonas. Okay, the nitrogen fixation, you will have categories given. Aerobic, anaerobic, like your Acetobacter, Begenica, okay, and then Rhodospirillum, Cyanobacteria. All these are nitrogen fixing bacteria. For nitrification, you are going to have bacteria like Nitrosomonas or your Nitrococcus that actually helps in nitrification. So denitrification, apart from Thiobacillus, if somebody asks you what is the other bacteria, you are going to tell very beautifully that it is Pseudomonas. It is Pseudomonas. Okay. Which of the following factor is responsible for formation of concentrated urine? So it is a question from a very good mechanism that takes place in our body, that is countercurrent mechanism. Low level of antidiuretic hormone. What is antidiuretic hormone meant for? It is going to increase the water reabsorption levels, right? So whenever there is more amount of ADH, then it is going to favor concentrated urine. When there is low level of ADH, decreased water reabsorption, so more water in the urine. So low level of ADH, it contributes to dilute urine. So this is a absurd statement. Maintaining hyperosmolarity S towards inner medullary S in the kidney. So you all know this is a direct statement again. Maintenance of hyperosmolarity towards inner medullary interstitium in the kidney. That is going to concentrate the urine for how many times? It concentrates the urine for S. Very good. It is 4 times. It is 4 times. Okay, that's why if you see that diagram, it will start from 300 milliosmoles per liter. That is the normal plasma osmolarity. At the inner part of the medulla, it would have been 1200 milliosmol per liter, which means the concentration had taken place for about 4 times. Secretion of erythropoietin. Erythropoietin has nothing to do with concentration. In turn, it is going to help in your RBC production. Hydrostatic pressure, all it is with your glomerular filtration, not with concentration. Okay, so the correct answer is option 2. So we have learned so many facts. 4 times it is going to concentrate. What are the two main components of countercurrent mechanism? Again, a favorite question of examiners. It is NaCl and then urea. These are the two favorite not favorite components. These are the two components along with water molecule also I can add, but mainly NaCl and urea is what is going to play a major role in countercurrent mechanism. So you all know the structures involved. It is loop of Henle and then vasa recta. Which of the following statements regarding mitochondria is incorrect? Again, if you take the second one is going to be incorrect. Why it is incorrect? Because the electron transport carriers are all present in the inner membrane, not in the outer membrane. Okay, this is a very big silly mistake. It is in the inner mitochondrial space, inner membrane mitochondrial space. Okay. Other things are all fine. Inner membrane is convoluted with infoldings, yes. Okay, contains DNA molecule, yes. Everything is fine. Xylem translocates, again a direct question. Water, mineral salts, everything it is going to transport, but in a unidirectional manner. Cell in G0 phase, it is going to what? It exits the cell cycle. Very important point, again from NCERT. I saw in one of the papers whether the cell is metabolically active or not. The question is whether a cell in G0 phase is metabolically active or not, was the question. Please take it down. Cells in G0 phase, yes, it is metabolically active, but only thing, it is not going to go for cell division, which means it exits the cell cycle, gets into a quiescent phase or an inactive phase, but inactive denotes only the cell's division, not the metabolic activity of the cell. So cells in G0 phase, they exit the cell cycle, they are in inactivated cell division phase, but they are metabolically active. So please, more than this point, this metabolically active point is very important. So please take a note of this.